on NPR a couple days ago, where they were talking about the fact that the United States takes way less vacation than every other modern industrialized nation, and they were like so confused. How is this possible, and why? And it's undeniably terrible. And they were like, I think one of their guests was like, I think this has something to do with like the Puritans and this thing that they called the Protestant work ethic. And then to hear them try and understand and try to describe what the Protestant work ethic was just, I mean, I had to laugh. It was like, that you'll go to hell if you don't work enough hours. Like, it was such a deep misunderstanding.
Yeah, there's a real confusing part. But yeah, I mean, it was like on Easter, the New York Times ran a headline a couple years ago. It's, or said in a headline article,
Sure.
Easter's
Mm-hmm.
when Christians believe Jesus rose into heaven. So you just get this, wrong. Even religious symbols. I think another New York Times piece talked about a crozier as opposed to a crozier, and which is the cross, which leads the procession in liturgy. And there's just all kinds of, and actually spelled it crow's ear because it was, it was a fantastic moment. Terry Mattingly is a journalist who kind of tracks all these kind of religious fumbles. But another side of this is the tendency to go back to your conversation about paganism is to actually call things similar that aren't, right, between pagan religions and Christian religions. So to, understand the difference between the pagan gods, many of whom those folks couldn't imagine them not being petty and jealous and perverted like they were, and to actually treat them as superhuman as opposed to the way that the transcendent way that God is talked about in Holy Scripture and from the monotheistic religions. Those really aren't similar. So when you have a Greek God, doing something that Jesus did, there's a similarity that's often superimposed on that, and that tells you something about kind of the religious impulse that's there, and then often misunderstood. But I do think it's an important development in Western culture, just like we talk about the breakdown of the family and the cultural wake of that. There was a piece not too long ago, and we've been writing about this for a while in various forms, that talked about what we can expect as America gets less and less religious. So as people get more and more disconnected from the source of these values or these views that they didn't know they had, and they don't know where they came from, the more they get disconnected from them, the more those values and views won't be taken for granted anymore.